All right, so we are back with our what is that? Like our fifth episode. Yeah, this is actually our first male guest that we had on the show.
I'm the first male guest.
Yeah,
we did have.
yeah, we had like 3 or 4 females. Yeah, we got one tomorrow. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're rounding out. That's good.
Hey, we're trying to make it diverse here. So we want to get the male perspective on things. So I'm Al Morgan, and I got the co-host here.
Mickey Dunn.
Yeah, so Dunn is here, and we are here with the amazing Roy Heisler. Amazing. Is that Heisler, right? It's
Yes.
Right, yeah, Heisler.
Yeah.
Right, all right. So I met this guy back in like 2005. We were working on a show called Random One, and he was a pretty cool guy. He listened to my beats. He told me they were great, and I know they weren't.
They were good.
No,
Come on.
no, they were horrible. I listened to them like last week. I was like, what was I thinking?
It was all relative, though. It was all relative. It's the time. That time, they were great.
Yeah, and this guy, this is one of the only people in the world who has a Kanye West story. Believe it or not, this guy.
I can't be the only one in the world with a Kanye West story.
You're the only person I know that has a Kanye West story. That's amazing, right?
It's a good Kanye West story.
We're gonna get to that. You want to say something to him, Mickey Dunn?
Thank you for inviting me in the home. This is a
All right. So like
no, I'm just saying, I'm from the cordial, being the cordial. I guess the better thing is what do you do? Because Al, I'm starting off from just scratch. What do you do?
Before we, I heard on a podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I heard that you're not supposed to ask what do you do, like when you meet somebody.
Really? Oh, right. I learned this from Europeans, actually.
Really?
When you meet someone from like France,
Right.
you can be with them all day. They'll never ask you what you do.
Wow. See, this
In
guy's
America,
well
it's like the first question.
Right.
What do you do?
Because
It must be like a cultural thing.
It's very cultural, and I had no idea.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
the guy explained it to me. He said that's just like asking how much money do you have in your bank account.
Right. That's exactly how it was explained to me. It's like
Really?
they perceive it as you sizing me up. That's how they perceive it.
Wow, that is interesting. And I mean, I not even just meeting new people, but like when you're talking to a girl, I mean, that's kind of sometimes
Right.
the way that you
Second
break.
question sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like she immediately wants to know. So what do you do? That's
Right.
probably like the first. It's definitely in the first 5 questions that you're going to be asked.
Well, I think Americans kind of have a direct link to what they do is kind of part of who they are. You know,
Yeah.
like they're for some reason their career is exactly who they are.
even though most people probably aren't
No.
doing what their
Which is
passion
weird.
is.
Right.
Exactly. So,
Right.
So yeah.
So anyway, do you want to know what I do?
Yeah, sure. Since I already started it.
I'm a cinematographer and an editor and a photographer.
A jack of many trades.
Yeah, I do what it takes to survive.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Did you start off, even when you were like a kid, was that your vision or?
I started off as a still photographer when I was 14. So
Wow.
I was a working photographer when I was 14 years old.
Wow, that's
And
pretty cool.
I was actually, when I was 15, I was running a darkroom in a newspaper, and so I was like covering events in my small town that I grew up in on the Eastern Shore in Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather was a professional photographer, so I guess somehow
It's
I
in
never
the
met
roots.
him, but it's somehow I have found an interest in it. So that's how it all started.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you were in the dark room mixing the chemicals,
Yeah,
and developing footage
yeah.
and
I had a
stuff?
dark room in my room of my house too, and I blacked out my room of my house when I was 14. I had chemicals in there, and
Yeah, I was about to ask, can you
awful.
have that mixed in?
no, it was
with
bad.
your-
I'm sure I did permanent damage, and I slept for like 14 hours sometimes because it was pitch black in my room, and I had these chemicals going. So I was in a weird state of mind for like 2 years. It was great though.
And then did your parents say anything about it? They
No.
just didn't even care.
No, my mom let me always do anything I want, so it was good.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right, so you started off with still photography. So what moved you into the next phase? Did you go to college? I mean, what college did you?
I went to college for a little while, but then dropped out, and because I got offered a job while I was in college to be an interactive developer. So I was teaching myself programming and development and interactive design at the time, and there weren't really classes for it at the time. This was in '96.
Wow.
So it was right in the beginning of everything happening with the internet, and it was so I was kind of making it up as I went along, and ended up getting a job in Baltimore as an interactive developer for a company called Imagination. So I did that for 3 years, did no photography, and I was became like the head of interactive development there, and And then while I was there, I had an idea for a TV show that Al actually got involved in. But that's when the idea came about for Random One. And then that's a huge story. But, we really came up with it overnight one night. And it just kept blossoming and blossoming and blossoming over the next 4 years. And we pitched it to every network in the United States. And it got turned down. And then it finally got picked up by A&E, and then I ended up shooting the series. So all of a sudden I had never shot video before, and I was shooting a national TV show. So it was pretty weird.
Wow. So from the beginning, you started with not even following the rules of anything. I mean, you were breaking the rules from the jump. Like, I'm not going to go to school. I'm just going to go and do it. And you just saw it through as you were doing it.
Yeah.
Just learning as you were going along.
I guess ignorance is bliss. Like, I was just ignorant. I said, okay, I can do this, and I just did it. I don't know. I didn't.
Is that just in your personality, just all the? Some people, they say, you go to high school, and you're supposed to go to college, and you're supposed to go to a job or whatever.
Right.
Your whole,
There's
you
steps.
never thought that way, in a step type of way.
Nah, and I still really kind of don't. I'm changing it now. And my girlfriend Ann's in here, and she could probably tell you that I don't really follow the template necessarily still, but I think as I've gotten older, I think I have become a little more rigid in how I do things. But
So let me ask you a question. So what's the key to keeping yourself relevant in this market now?
Oh man,
Because you are a jack of all trades, but it has to be something that keeps.
I think how I've survived, like I started as a still photographer, did some interactive development, interactive design. I started shooting video. I shot a TV show. I then started editing. And then I wanted to make sure that I knew a lot about a lot of different things. So I could kind of like flow through a lot of things. Like if someone had said, can you do this? I want to say yes. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I think that's how I've survived. I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
Right.
But that's how if somebody says, can you take this still shot of this person? And I'm like, yes. And can you film this video in Africa somewhere about these animals in Africa? And I'm like, yep, I can. And like, I just want to be able to say yes to whatever somebody asked me to do.
Right. I'm in that situation now. I have a shoot coming up next week, and it's like, I've never done photography before, so I'm just cramming to learn as much as I can.
Right.
So, for me, the motivation is the fear to make something look terrible. That's
right.
my fear.
That is a fear of me too.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. That's exactly what it is too.
Yeah. So what other things motivate you to do what you do? Is it the money? Is it the experiences? Is it the pictures? Is it the what is it?
It's never been money. It's becoming more about money as I get older, sadly. But it never has been. It's always been about like Random One. This come up again, but it started with Random One. Really, I had that job. I was making really good money. It was during the internet boom. We had everything we wanted, literally. In that company, it was the crazy time. It was from '99 to 2003, and it was that huge period there where. We had I had an omelet chef when I came to work in the morning. Like, it was that kind of stuff. So it was crazy. Like, the guys I was working with had $100,000 BMWs, and, they were selling their companies for $15 million, and they were 25 years old. And, like, it was a crazy time. Wow. So, but I didn't like it. Like, I liked it. It was great, but I felt like something was missing. So that's how Random One kind of came about. Is searching for meaning in what I do. And I think that's important to me because the heart of Random One was we went out on the streets, we met somebody randomly, and we tried to help them any way we could. And that was the concept of the show, as simple as it gets. And we did it for years. And we just went out and met people and said, no matter what they said, we would try to make it happen. And we filmed it. But it was great because you feel great about what you're doing. You made a little bit of difference in this person's life. And I've tried to continue that in everything that I do. And I've tried to turn down things that I don't feel good about, that I don't think are really doing anything necessarily for anyone. And regardless of the money.
Cool. So talk about, there's probably a lot of people that listen to this that may want to own their own business or maybe want to follow the route that you Follow. What would you say is one of those like? Do they have to conquer the fear of like failure? Would you say that's like a big thing that could stop you from maybe being taking that route?
Definitely. I think when you're younger, it's easier to do it. It was all in my 20s. I had no fear really. I just did it. I didn't really have a concept of fear or failing, and I didn't really care if I did fail. I didn't really care. So I think that was a huge part of it. My mom, I think, is really what did that for me. She just, no matter what I would say, she would like, yep, you can go do that. Like, you should go do that. Like, there was never a negative thing with her, and I think that I've just carried that along with me. So, yeah, it's definitely about just doing it. If you feel like you should do it, go do it. I don't know.
That you don't know how rare that is, like in society now. Like you have so many people that are trying to do things, and there's more people that will tell you no and all the possibilities of how it can't happen. Versus, so it's interesting saying like as a kid in nature versus nurture and things like that. Someone's telling you before you even know, growing you to know that hey, you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, yeah, and I think Random One was a huge example of that because it started with 4 people. It was me and this guy John Chester and this Andre Miller who was amazing, and Al knows Andre, and and it was just core of like these people. We didn't know differently that we couldn't really do this. Like typically, if you have an idea for a TV show, you should probably approach a production company that's done TV before, and really pitch it to them and say, can you produce this and maybe, make a deal with them. We didn't know any better. We were going directly to the networks. We would go to NBC and say, here, we have this idea. You should watch it. We were just ignorant, and they actually liked it. And, so it kind of went from that. Like it was that there was no fear there. We would sit with the head of NBC and say, this is our idea. And Andre would be Andre in the meeting, and and like he's with the head of
personality,
NBC,
that
right?
Can we get an
King of
what that personality?
Andre.
Is there anything
I mean,
to be compared to?
Roy knows more about Andre than I do, but
I mean, there's so many stories about Andre, but
he's like, he's Andre. I mean, he's like, I can't really.
It's indescribable.
Yeah, he's like.
You guys need to interview him. You should
We
track him down.
We do. I saw him in Panera a while back.
Really?
Yeah. I can't really explain it. He's like, I would say like a Dennis Rodman on crack, like super high. Like his energy, his energy.
Yeah.
I might be wrong with the Dennis Rodman quote, but his energy is just like either you like him or you're gonna be terrified of him.
Well, I think he's the kind of person that he'll get to the truth really quickly in you. Like it's really odd. Like within a minute he'll actually say something sometimes that you've never told anyone, and you're like, whoa. And he really that's what Al means is like you either get really scared and like you get defensive about it because he kind of starts tapping at the truth in you, and you're like,
yeah, he's that kind of person.
Yeah,
like without really even having like a conversation. He just is reading you somewhat.
He just when he's with you, like say he met you right now. You've never met him before. Mm-hmm. He hones in on you, and it's all about you. There's nothing about him. He's just on you, and he tries to figure you out immediately, and it's very intense. And we were in New Orleans one time with him, and we were in this bar, and Dr. Phil was in the bar. And the head of Fox was in the bar. This guy, I didn't know who he was, but apparently he's this real hard guy. He's this real hard network, tough, mean.
No,
mean man.
The answer is no.
Right, and he's at the bar alone. Andre gets up and goes over to him immediately, and John Chester was looking across the bar, couldn't hear what they were saying. He said within a minute. Andre had his hand on his chest, on this guy's chest, and he was crying. The guy from Fox was crying. So he's like notoriously
this is a true story.
True story. And what Andre told him was, he said, "Look, I know what you're doing." He looked at him right in his eyes and said, "I know what you're doing." He said, "I know what you're doing with your life." And he had his hand on his chest. He said, "If you keep going, you're going to die within a year." And the guy started crying because he knew he was right.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's like 1,000 Andre stories, but
Yeah, Andre's definitely like if he came in this room, he'd fill up the whole room.
Yeah.
His personality fill up the whole room.
yeah.
He's definitely an alpha male character, you know.
So he's like a boss. He tries to be the control.
No, because it's not about Andre. That's the thing. It's not about Andre. And the fact that we're spending all this time talking about Andre just tells you how much.
Right.
Like, you know,
Exactly.
But it's like when it's like a selfless thing, but it's about him, but it's not about him
Right.
at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
it's a very, you gotta meet. He's very unique.
Well,
He's
there's
very-
10 episodes of Random One you can watch, and that'll give you an idea of his personality. We'll give you the
Right.
DVDs.
But as far to the right Andre can be, he can be just as far left.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He's I gotta find him. He's an interesting character. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about this is how important is your team that you build and work with? How important is that to your success, to the success of anybody?
I tell people like PAs and like younger people that are just starting out, like what I tell, they always ask me questions like that, and I'm like, look, it's very, very simple. Everybody thinks it's hard. It's very simple. And after working with Capella, the producer that I work with, we have a good team. We have a pretty solid team that I kind of, repeat with. And if you get in with a producer, a good producer, as like one of the crew, like if you're a camera or if you're in, the camera department or electrical, whatever you want to be, if you get in good with a producer, she's really the hub of everything. And then if all you have to do is you do exactly as you're told and you show up on time, that's really it. I mean, beyond that, then the producer will always rehire you because all she wants is somebody that she can rely on. That's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. If she knows you're going to be there and you're going to do your job, you will always get rehired, no matter what.
You know, it takes one time to mess up, generally.
One time you mess
One
up, you're
time.
done. You won't get rehired.
And that's one thing I think I took from Random One is that, and it's, I mean, my mom was like that. My mom was a choir director at my church, and she always was extra early. Like if choir rehearsal was at 5 o'clock, she was there at 4:30. But even being on Random One, I took that with me. Like I feel guilty if I'm ever late, and I feel like I'm late if I'm like 10 minutes ahead of time.
Right.
Like I'm always super. I'm always like I was sitting outside here,
Right.
just sitting, but it's interesting when you deal with other people that don't have that mindset. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Like, why can't you just be on time? I have friends now that I won't do work with them because they can't be on. And I think it's a personal thing. I think it's such an arrogant thing for somebody to just be late.
Right.
It's like, oh, my time's more important than yours.
Exactly.
You have to wait on me. So that's one thing I definitely took from Random One. But anything else you want to ask him? Cause I got some I pulled out that I got to talk to him about too.
Oh, okay. The box of questions.
Yeah.
Was it? I had it in my head. But,
All right, so you are a world traveler, as we can see by this lovely map behind me here.
imagine the map in your mind.
Yes, please. A whole bunch of dots on it. Tell us some of the places you've been.
Well, in the past 4 years alone, I think I've been to 18 to 20 countries, I think, in the past few years. I've been back and forth to Africa the most. That's where I've traveled the most for the last.
What were you doing there?
I've been filming gorillas for the last 4 years, the mountain gorillas in Rwanda and Congo. And so I've gone back and forth a few times. I don't know I've lost count how many times. But so yeah, the head gorilla doctor actually lives in Baltimore, part-time, and he lives in Rwanda 6 months out of the year. Right. And he used to be the head of the Maryland Zoo. His name's Dr. Cranfield. He's amazing. And so I started filming the stuff that he did in Rwanda a few years ago. And it's gone on and on and on.
Nice.
And all I do is I create these. I'm a one-man band. I go in there with a camera. I do the audio. I do all of it.
Right.
And I follow these gorilla doctors into what they do when they treat the gorillas. And they'll knock them down sometimes and do work to them, and then so I film like the day-to-day operations and make these little films for them to promote all over the world to raise money because they're a nonprofit.
So what goes into that? I mean, first of all, what's the process of actually going to Africa or any foreign country? You got to take a shot. So I mean, what do you have to do?
Yeah, you get.
How many hours is that flight?
It's 2 10-hour flights, but it's it takes longer because usually you have a pretty long layover. So it ends up being like 25 hours to get into where you're going. And then the hard part is once you get into Rwanda, you fly into a place called Kigali in Rwanda. And then once you get there, they truck us to where we need to go to the gorillas, which is another like 3 or 4 hour truck ride after you've been traveling for 25 hours. So it's pretty brutal. And you're in the time zone's different, and you get there and you just work as soon as you hit the ground. And it's like really, it's hard, but it's amazing.
So what was your first time going over there? What was that like? Like, that's like must be like a rude awakening, because I think at that time when you went, they were fighting.
Yeah, actually, the first time I went, I had never been to a developing country. It's not called third world anymore. They're called developing countries. So I had never at that point been anywhere like that. So I was put right in the middle of it all. And literally the second day I was there, I was caught. The war broke back out in Congo right where I was, like the second day I was there. So
wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Are people shooting? Are they throwing Molotov cocktails? What does that mean? I mean,
yeah, I was driving in the truck. There were 2 trucks. There was a truck in front of me. I was going to interview. There's a prince, and it sounds crazy, but there's a prince in the Congo that heads up this part of the park where the gorillas are. I was going to interview him on camera.
Okay.
To get his perspective on what's going on in the Congo, because the gorillas are in Rwanda and Congo. So I was going to interview him. We were in trucks going up the side of this volcano, and they ambushed us and they were going to kill him, the prince. And so I'm sitting in this truck, and I'm with the head gorilla doctor, and it's the worst feeling ever because you're in the middle of the Congo, and my first instinct is to run. You know what I mean? Like, you just want to run. Like, you want to get away from whatever's going on, and you just had to sit there. Like, I'm looking at my driver, and he's calm and like on his phone, and they're saying, oh, they're shooting, and I'm like, are we gonna turn around, and like, what are we doing? And like, so it was rough.
Yeah. So how did they get out? Did they just try to drive through the situation?
We turned around and went back to the border. All out war broke out, and they closed down the border, and they closed the border at like hours after we got through it, and we would have been stuck in the Congo in the war. They wouldn't have let us back through to Rwanda, but we just got out of Congo, and the war had been settled for a while. It had been a couple years, and it broke back. It's still, I think it's
years,
and I think it's still going on. That incident now it spawned like years of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's crazy, and there's no way you're just in the truck. Oh, I'm just gonna do the interview, and then, voila, and then you just. I mean, if you're military trained, it's kind of like you're trained to kind of always deal with. No. There's something that could possibly happen, right. But if you're just sitting there, you're going to just film.
Right.
You're not even thinking that. Oh, wait a minute, it's possible that this could happen.
Right. It was bad,
and you're not in your own country. You're
not even close. It's the exact opposite. And I said once I got through the Congo, I said I'm never going back to the Congo ever. I'm never ever going there, and I've been there multiple times since then.
Oh man.
But now I've grown to love it. I don't love it. I mean, I love Rwanda. I don't love the Congo. The Congo is amazing, and now I've been all through the Congo. I've been in the southern part of the Congo and like in these very remote called Kayuzi-Biega. It's this really remote area of the Congo, and I've been with pygmies in the jungle. And,
that's really cool. That's really cool. So you have like just a short? Is it like you just have a short memory with that, or it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go regardless of what's happening? Like in that moment, it's like, oh man, I'm not gonna do that again. But then you gotta go.
I don't know. I don't know what I've never been that scared before ever in my whole life, and I've never thought I was gonna die more than I was that day. And so I don't know why I went back in. I have no idea. It's almost like this thing, like I wanted to conquer the fear, I guess. But and the whole time you're there, you were in like survival mode, like, completely aware, hyper aware. So it's exhausting when you're there because you're just constantly.
So what are the misconceptions of Africa from your perspective?
I think there's misconception of Rwanda. People think when I say I'm going to Rwanda, they're like, ooh. Like a lot of people make this reaction like, ooh.
Like the hotel?
Right, because they know about what happened in '94. There was the big massacre night was awful. And, the movie Hotel Rwanda and, a lot's gone down in Rwanda. But Rwanda has become my favorite country in the world that I've ever been to. And it's my favorite place in the world. I think there's misconceptions because Rwanda's clean. It's one of the cleanest countries I've ever been to. The people are the nicest people I've ever been around, the happiest people I've ever been around. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. It's an amazing place. And I want to take family, friends, I want to always take people there because it's great. So I think there's misconceptions a lot about in Africa especially, the continent of Africa especially.
So when you do these jobs, I mean, you don't have to get deep into this, but does it pay for you for the rest of the year? Can you just be like, well, I'm doing this and I'm just going to sit back for the rest of the year?
No, not that, not the guerrilla stuff. No.
Gotcha.
But I've gotten other things that are like that. I was on a plane from Rwanda, back to Europe, and we got to the Brussels airport, and there's a woman sitting in the Brussels airport, and Dr. Kim, who I was with, started talking to this woman in the airport, and it turns out she lives a block over there, or a block away from us. Right.
He's pointing down the street.
I'm pointing down the street.
Right.
So it turns out she lived in my neighborhood, and she was the head of marketing for Japago, which is the nonprofit arm of Johns Hopkins, and they had been in Rwanda treating women in childbirth, and so I sat there. She's like, what are you guys doing in Rwanda? And I opened my laptop and showed her like a 5-minute clip of some stuff that I'd shot. And she took my laptop over to this whole group of other people that were sitting in the airport, and it turned out to be the whole board of Japago. And they're huge. They've been around for 40 years. They're incredibly well funded, and they do work in over 100 countries. And, so they pretty much hired me in the Brussels airport to go to India to shoot in these hospitals in India for them. So I was in India like a few months later with them. And so it's weird how stuff happens, like you start getting in these places and, you start getting these projects and it kind of just spawns from there.
So, quick question.
So how long was the flight to India?
Oh my God.
Was that was even longer than the
that was
trip
longer. Yeah, but I don't remember. I just remember it being a blur. I don't know. I don't know. You get taking so many flights. Like I've been on trips. I was in Africa with Japago last year on this other trip, and I took I was only gone for a little over a week. Was it 10 days I was gone? I think I was gone for 10 days, and I was on 12 different flights, and some of the flights I was on 12 different airplanes. I was in the air more than I was on the ground in 10 days.
Jeez.
So I was flying all over the place. It was unbelievable, but
So what are you shooting on? I mean, you don't have like a flip cam or anything like that. I mean, what do you shoot with?
I shoot right now on a Panasonic AF100. And so I can I can use different lenses, right. And I have a Nikon D800 for the stills, and I shoot with that too. But mostly I use the AF100 because it has XLRs and I can run audio through it. So, but now I'm upgrading. I think I don't know yet if I'm upgrading because there's nothing really out there for me yet.
Right.
It's a weird time for cameras right now.
You would think that with the AF100 that it would not be conducive to like a jungle environment, but
no, it's great.
Okay.
Like because I was shooting with the HVX 200, the Panasonic before
right.
that, and that thing is like a workhorse. I mean,
right.
It's great. It never breaks. It's like it's a workhorse, and the AF100 is too. It's been great.
Cool.
I haven't had any problems with it.
Cool.
But I don't know. It's either you spend $70,000 or you spend $7,000 and you get There's no real in betweens yet.
Right.
It's
right.
weird.
Yeah. Unfortunately not. Yeah, we're talking about the black magic now, but
I know I've been looking at that too. I don't know. I don't know.
They dropped the price.
To what?
$2,000.
$2,000.
They dropped it $1,000.
And it's 4K, right?
Mm-hmm. No, the 2K one. The 2K. It is 4K, They dropped the price of the 2K one, I believe, to $2,000.
4K is like 3.
Yeah.
See, I want a red. I kind of want a red, but
Wow. They got the new Dragon. They got
The new Dragon,
Dragon.
which
I
is
saw a video of that.
6K, 120 frames.
Actually.
That's the problem I have with what we're doing now is because everything's going to the web. But it was like we're doing 4K. It's
But-
like everything's getting bigger, but
No, but-
everything's getting smaller. You're getting the quality.
You get the quality though, and as you shrink down, it gets better. You know what I mean? Like
Of
if you're
course.
shooting 4K for web, it's
Of course,
going to
it's
look
gonna look super
amazing.
clean.
And you can use one camera for an interview and just frame
exactly.
them in anywhere you want,
And you
and
can-
then you can do close-ups, you can do
Exactly.
whatever you want.
That makes sense. But I don't know, man. This whole industry is getting out of control. Like they're releasing cameras every week.
So, like the camera, let's say you can replace that sensor in like a Scarlett, right? Like if you already had a Scarlett, you can just get them to replace
For
the...
$10,000, they'll put that chip in there.
$10,000.
Yeah.
How much does a Scarlett go for?
You
Anybody
can
know
get a
offhand?
kit right now. You can start shooting with a Scarlett right now for for 14. And then if you want a Dragon sensor, which will give you that 6K, it's going to be 24, but it still won't shoot 120 frames, I don't think. I think the Scarlett still only shoots 60 frames.
So then
So
you gotta buy your glass, and your glass is
it gets crazy.
ridiculous.
It gets crazy. But
That's why that's always the option of renting. Just rent somebody that has.
That's what somebody told me.
Yeah, just rent it. You know.
what I'm worried about is dropping like 30 grand, and then they release some little camera that's doing 4K 120 frames and everything that I want for $3,000.
Yep.
That's my nightmare right there.
I think Black Magic is going to be the
Black
one
Magic.
to do it. I really think they're going to be the ones
Right.
to do it.
Yeah.
If I can shoot, I don't know. Is this show about this? I mean, are we like is it
Whatever you want it to
Okay.
be about.
Because if you could shoot flat, you know what I mean by
Right.
flat. Like everybody's
Yeah.
shooting flat now. Like
Yeah, so you can have the
you can
range.
do whatever. You can grade it
Yeah.
however you want. If I can get flat 4K and at least 120 frames, I'll buy it. Like that's what I need right now. That's
Yeah,
what
I mean,
want.
you can just manipulate the colors anyway. In that case,
Right. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, turn day to night, night to day. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, enough about that, I guess.
The cameras, man.
They're not shipping them.
They have
Do you have one
issues.
ordered? Have you ordered
No,
one?
well, I was going to get the pocket cinema,
Right.
cinema camera,
Right,
just
it's
to
great.
kind of see. I
Right.
mean, because it still was doing ProRes and
Right.
Cinema DNG, but I mean, it was like it's like the size of an
A little point and shoot kind of
Yeah,
thing.
So, but they have. I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing they're controlling all of the manufacturing of the cameras. and
It's
they
kind of like
haven't-
Red. Red did the same thing, and they, I had a deposit down on a Scarlett. I was on the list to get one right when they came out, and they could never tell me when it was coming, and they said, well, I'd ordered it in November. They said it was going to be December. January rolled around. They never said anything, and then they said it could be summer, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get my deposit back.
Yeah, I
'cause-
know.
Some horrible customer service.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I mean, so what programs are you using now? Are you using the CC collection now? Are you doing CS6?
I think I'm CS6. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and Final Cut.
Right. Which one?
I'm still at 7.
I don't.
I'm not going to 10.
I'm with you. I just think it just has it's just got a bad stigma now. I think it's just been it's probably good now, but so many
It
people
reminds
just so
me of
used
like
to.
iMovie or
It does,
something.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's what they said. I heard that's what they were trying to. I don't know why they were trying to do that.
I
Make
don't
it
know. I don't
closer to
understand
iMovie.
it at all.
I don't
Because
think
now,
Apple cares.
if you get a Red, no, they don't. I
Yeah.
think they care about tablets and making money right now.
There you go.
But if I get a Red, then if I want to stay with a Mac, then 10 supports the Red code.
There
so
you go.
I have to go with 10 if I get a Red.
You gotta go Premiere, man.
I know, or Premiere.
Premiere. I moved on to Premiere, man. That's it's solid.
But does
'cause-
that mean I have to buy a PC now?
What are you talking about?
Should I buy a PC or
No.
run Premiere on here?
Run Premiere on this. That's what I
Okay.
do. And it's got the
Alright.
dynamic linking, so whatever you do to After Effects or whatever you want to do, it automatically goes over to Premiere.
You can't own it. I'm mad that I can't own it.
What you mean you can't own it? Now, yeah, you gotta do subscription now. I don't know if you know that or not. With the CC collection, it's all cloud based.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's
So,
weird.
but you pay like $50 a week. I mean, a week.
A week.
A month. You like $50 a month.
But there's no upfront fee for the software. You just
No, you just download.
You're kind of renting the software at that point?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but the good thing about it is if there's an update to something, you automatically get it instead of it being like a service pack where you have to wait 6 months later. So as soon as they come out with an update, you get it. So it's just
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of things are gonna go. Where you just
it's kind of depressing though. I don't want to.
I want tangible.
Yeah,
what do you mean
I
you want
feel
tangible?
that.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
with you.
I like still having my CD box, my CD, and then I can choose whether I want to move forward or I can stay still for a second.
You're kind of old school.
No, I mean you could. This guy is definitely, but you can.
You have Technique 1200s. You still have
I'm
your
on,
vinyl.
man. Oh. Are
you vinyl?
No. I've moved forward with the iPod, but
No, he's not. No, he's telling a story. No, because this guy buys CDs. This guy, he has to buy the CD and read it. They're inside.
Still, I love to see who produced the songs and things like that. So
okay,
but I am getting back. They say vinyl is starting to come back, so that might be.
It is, and I just saw this thing that you can take a 3D printer. Have you seen this? You can use a 3D printer and print a vinyl record from an MP3. So you can put any MP3 that you have on your computer and use a 3D printer and print a piece of vinyl.
You gotta be
with that MP3.
You know how insane that is.
That's cool.
Like all the stuff that you had to go through to make a vinyl.
Now you can make your own vinyl record.
Well, if anybody would have a 3D printer, it would be Roy. So
I don't have one. I'm waiting.
I just saw one.
Really?
I just saw one. Yeah, believe it or not. I saw one. Frederick Douglass High School has one.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
high school has
they
one.
really are doing it. They are doing it.
Yeah, I mean that when they had that thing on HBO, that really made them look so bad. So I was telling them on the last podcast, I said they have an initiative. They wanted to have an experiment. If they took a bad school and just threw money at it, what would happen? And the results,
is it working?
It's working.
Wow.
It's really working. It's those kids are already Adobe certified.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they got they got the 3D printer, they got the Alienware computers, they got everything.
You should do a story about them.
I went for career day, and that's when I found out because I thought it was gonna be like like lean on me, I had to be prepared. But those kids, yeah,
Batman.
but I was pleasantly surprised. Like they have a courtroom in the school, so if there's anything that goes wrong between the kids, they can.
Oh, that's cool.
Dispute it.
That's very cool.
Between their peers. It is.
That's a good idea.
It is. It's pretty cool.
I hope they spread that around. I hope they take that design and apply it to.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think they have like another 2 years on the contract for them to get the money, and then it goes back to what it used to be.
Oh, that's
so hopefully.
Maybe something will take hold though.
Maybe because they have it now where you have to be accepted into a school within the school. Like you can go to the technology side of the school, or you can go to the services side of the school. So if you go to technology side, you get to learn about audio recording, video recording, and all kind of stuff like that. So it's a really, really cool school. I would have loved to have gone there. So considering what they were like 5 years ago, it was like the worst school in the country, So let's get back to you about the whole music thing. Sorry. Yeah, we'll probably cut all that out. But music, what are you listening to? Don't say, I listen to everything. That's what everybody says.
No. I say there's two kinds of music. It's either good or bad. That's it. And
okay. Well, what's good to you? Are you a fan of Chief Keef?
I've never heard of
exactly.
Chief Keef.
All right, good. Good. You've done yourself a favor.
All right. A lot of hip hop.
What are you listening to, man? You sound like an old school.
I listen to.
Like 90s.
I grew up with hip hop.
2001.
That's not old school.
That's a great album. It's one of the best albums ever made. But
I don't know about that, man.
Right. I mean,
no.
I would say it's up there like Midnight Marauders and Low End Theory in that category. Like my top 5 like fluctuates. The original Chronic.
One of the best mixed albums I've ever heard. 2001. Dr. Dre.
No, absolutely. I agree.
I mean, the strings, the pianos. I mean, you got things panning left to right. I
right.
mean, it is unbelievable. Al does not think 2001 is.
That's crazy.
It's okay. It had its time. It had its time. I distinctly remember this. I remember that album because I went on a trip and we only had 3 albums. We had that album, had the Big Pun album, and we had the ODB album. And we listened to those 3 going to Florida back to back to back to back. And it's one of those albums that, you're in a car with your friends, everybody can sing along with it. So it's kind of like that. But you can do that same thing with Kids Bop, so it really doesn't matter. But it's a good album. It's okay. It's okay. I just don't like the messages in the album so much. the content, son. But
I was just talking about this with my friend the other day that there hasn't been an album that's come out that really has really like right. It doesn't happen anymore. Like I'm kind of
you don't know why?
it's okay. I mean, yeah,
See,
Kendrick Lamar is great.
That's what older people think sometimes.
It
Not
still
to say that
doesn't-
you're old. But I'm just
You just
saying,
call me
like,
old.
if you're over the age of 35, you
And
think
now my girlfriend's laughing at me.
like if you're over the age of 35, Kendrick Lamar is like they don't
No,
connect
I
with him.
appreciate Kendrick Lamar. Absolutely.
The album.
Not the whole album.
Oh man, that album will be a classic. It will be a classic.
Okay.
But you know what? I told a friend of this, and I was saying music marks time.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it in the barbershop one time. It's like all our albums that we like, the generation that's coming after us is going to be like, these were our albums, and we'll look at that and we'll go, that's garbage.
Maybe,
but
but
it's like the time that we.
But there are some that transcend all time. Like there's some that are just
I don't know though,
timeless.
because. Wait, well, no, wait a minute.
we can
All right,
debate.
which ones would you
Because
say?
I grew up listening to native tongues. You know, like
Nice.
you know, Tribe, De La, you know, whoever else was there. Jungle Brothers. Like I was all about the Jungle
Ooh,
Brothers.
wow.
I wore out my cassette tape of Jungle Brothers, like literally, and I still listen to them. For me, Tribe Called Quest is timeless for me. You can listen to it right now, and it still kind of works. You know. And, oh man,
Bonita.
Bonita Applebum's good. I still like Check the Rhyme. It's like my classic song, Tribe song.
Favorite Tribe song?
Oh, it's gotta be between Bonita and what's the song, the first song that they came out with, Scenario. Scenario to this day, anytime that Scenario
Yes.
comes on, the party's going. I mean, it's going. It's gonna happen. So it's like Scenario.
I mean, Busta Rhymes' part in that song alone.
Oh
is
my
like,
gosh! And I
And-
seen it live, like
me too. It was amazing.
unbelievable. Tribe does a great live show, one of the best live shows.
I just saw this thing online with Questlove. Who am I thinking of? You know, the head of Tribe.
Oh, Q-Tip.
Q-Tip.
Yeah.
Good
Same
God.
guy.
I said Questlove.
Same guy.
They're the same. Q-Tip. Q-Tip was just talking about when they recorded Scenario, Busta Rhymes came in and he wouldn't tell them what. They were like, what's your part going to be? They were asking him, like, what are you going to do? And Busta Rhymes was like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to the booth and do it.
Nice.
And he said he just walked in there and did it. And everybody was like, what did I just hear? You know,
Did he
'cause-
write it? Did they even say if he wrote it?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Okay.
He just wouldn't tell anybody what he was doing. Because usually they kind of like, you know.
Yeah, bounce
This is
off,
my
like,
part,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
what do
yeah,
you
yeah,
think?
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was an amazing part. But anyway, I grew up with, you know, that kind of hip hop. So
Yeah, this.
I'm always kind of like, I don't know.
You're searching for it. You want to see it. I think this is one of the. Al was saying he was arguing this point, and I will give him this much. This is probably the time that you may find more artists that sound more like what you want
It's coming
than
back around.
ever.
Right, I
You
agree.
know, there's a lot of young kids that, for some strange reason, they came back to the '90s. I don't know how they got back to that far, but for some strange reason, they hear '90s stuff and the beats and
Right.
everything is coming right back to the '90s.
And the
So-
samples, like the sampling is
they're
different.
going
And
back to sampling and
right.
stuff. So it's an interesting time. But I understand what you're saying, because it's like I really do get into. I listen to everything, even the stuff now. But there's some stuff that's just like when I hear it, it's like I remember growing up, and that was the
Right.
jam. And it's like nothing I can hear really will bring me back to that point. It's just that time.
we're going to see Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake tomorrow night.
I'm going.
You're going
tomorrow
to?
too, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that should be good. I mean, those two have come out with great stuff. Kanye, I mean, I'm all about Kanye and
we gotta hear that
Jay-Z,
story, man.
but I'm all about them right now. I love everything Jay-Z's doing. Kanye's album was weird, but
Yeah, what would you give Yeezus from 1 to 10?
oh
1 to
man,
10. It's going about to go gold.
I actually like that album.
I like how weird.
Like you know, it sounded like one big song to me, but I liked it more than I liked a lot of his stuff, like Twisted Dark Fantasy, whatever it's called, 808 and Heart. I listened to College Dropout this week, and I'm not even a fan of College Dropout, but it made me appreciate College Dropout more because, like we said before, I feel like when Kanye first came out, seemed like he would be approachable, but now Kanye is definitely not approachable.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
When his mom died, things changed him. You know?
I love how dark that. I mean, that there's a couple songs in that album that's just dark, and
the-
the video.
Leaves, man.
Do you see the video for?
Don't give it any credit. Come on, man.
Come on,
I'm not a fan of that. Come on, what are you talking about? That.
What are you talking about with the dog? Like the one you can slow down and all that
Yes.
stuff.
You know why? You know why you can slow it down? Just so you can see Kanye's dick. That's the only
I know,
reason
it's
why.
true.
That's
His computer generated dick.
and that's the thing.
It's computer generated dick.
The sad thing about it is Kanye didn't want to put the work in at the gym, so he got a computer.
He got a computer generated version of himself.
Yes,
and it's
that's-
not even a good one
It's
either.
not. And I do graphics. He said it took him 5 months to do that. That would have taken a decent place that does mocap. Probably a weekend.
What about what he did when he projected? Was it New Slaves? Is that
Yeah.
on the
People-
college
I
campus?
didn't like that.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like that.
I liked how raw it was.
But see, I get it. But I think if you compare that, now I don't want to compare, but if you compare that to what Jay-Z did it way classier.
Yeah,
He did it way classier.
but Jay-Z's classier. That's who he is.
And I talked to you about this, Mickey. I wonder if Kanye West is taking shots at Jay-Z. Because think about it. The reason why I say that is because Kanye's all anti-establishment now. And Jay-Z is all for the establishment.
But you know what? For those Kanye fans that really listen to Kanye stuff, I mean, even College Dropout had lines about how he felt about politics and religion
That's true.
and stuff. He kind of always was a little militant.
But
so
now he just seems a lot angrier now.
I
Like
think LA, man. I was telling Al, like, man, LA's not for everybody. And
I don't
I've
like
seen
LA.
regular people say LA wasn't for everybody. You have to be a person that's willing to deal with, hey, when I step out of the car, like the Paris Hiltons and stuff like that, they're cool. Like they know, or even Eva Mendes is walking down the street, snap, snap, snap,
Right.
snap, 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 snap. If you have to have a mental where you're like, I understand. I'm gonna get pictures, even when I don't feel like pictures. I'm gonna get pictures. That stuff, those videos are funny to me, like because you can see him like,
oh yeah,
getting pissed as
and he
time
hit his head.
moves on.
He hit his head on that sign and like
You see that vein
Yeah.
go through him, like,
Right.
please stop
Right.
taking pictures of me.
Right.
And then the one guy, he like attacked that guy recently. He was like, I told you don't talk to me.
right. Yeah, I think he's losing it, but
Yeah, man.
who knows? I don't know.
I don't believe the hype, man. It seems so.
Right.
I think it's all contrived.
So
man.
do you believe that the Kanye and Taylor Swift thing was real?
I do believe that. I believe that. I believe that was real. I believe.
No.
I just think everything.
I don't believe it at all.
You don't think so?
I think it was set up. People still talk about it. We're talking about it right now, still to this day. I think it was a brilliant marketing move by both of them.
Look,
I
I'll
think they
tell
were
you
both
this.
on it.
I heard they were friends. Like I heard
Right.
that they were actually like working on music together. That's the only thing. At first I thought it was real, but I don't know because they say they're like working on music together. So I'm
not
like,
real.
would you work on music
was
with
set
somebody
up.
that did that to you?
It was
Hip hop conspiracy theories.
I've got lots of hip hop conspiracy theories though.
Oh, let's
Like-
hear him. Now, you
No.
know, one thing I got to say, so I want to make sure that this is known. This shows you how powerful Hannah Montana is. She has made it acceptable for white women to start twerking now. That is the new thing.
Hannah Montana's responsible for this?
Yes.
How? Where was the segue to Hannah Montana? Well,
She's been doing twerk videos.
she's doing twerk videos?
Yeah, she's. Your face that you made.
I don't know anything about this. I got a few right here.
Hannah Montana's been twerking the last couple months now.
What is it? Well, first of all, her name is not Hannah Montana.
It's what's her name? Miley Cyrus. Miley
And
Cyrus.
I was going, and I was like, wait a minute. Not Hannah Montana. Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
But yeah, she's been doing twerk videos. But I think it was going on all along. I think she exposed what was already happening.
She was, but twerk videos were done by generally black girls.
True.
But now it's opened up to all cultures now, because they saw her do it, and now
Think she set the precedent?
I definitely think she did. Absolutely. I mean, then you got Jay-Z saying twerk, Molly, Molly, twerk. Like,
That's right.
like that's where that comes from. She did 2
Right.
twerk videos. She did one where she's wearing this outfit and twerking, and then when she got on stage when Juicy J was on there, she started twerking in the background.
But you know what? Everybody that Snoop Dogg has said recently, like, that's like her. Like, had we never had a camera on her or anything like that, I mean, she smokes weed. She freaking, like, you know, likes hip hop. She always liked hip hop. I think she was twerking. I just think,
she's kind of a dirty girl. She's crazy.
Yeah, but she said her image was mad country. You got to think, you know, Hannah Montana is $1 million brand, a couple millions of millions dollar brand. So you got people that are telling her, hey, don't do that outside. You don't want anybody to film that. You know, don't twerk outside.
No, what you're saying is true, but they've been saying that probably all her life.
Yeah.
And this is her way of rebelling. Same thing with Justin Bieber.
Look at Justin Bieber.
Same thing. He's, man.
What has happened to Justin?
Good God.
Wait.
What happened?
Hold on. I love the way we were from talking about gorillas in Rwanda. What happened to Justin Bieber?
We went all the way to Justin
He's out of control.
Because you see a kid, because we all know how the story ends, like, you know, and I hope it doesn't end that way, because, you know, you don't want to see a kid who obviously, the only thing I say his management should really think about is, like, man, that's your brand. This is a couple million dollar brand.
He's
like,
out of everybody's hands now. He's an adult.
I mean, he's got his whole arm tatted. I mean, he's got
awful.
fronts. It's
not
like
good.
you gotta look. The Bieber brand, that is a big thing. He's not that old to really go that far. You know, you still got time to go that far. I mean, you still could have got 2 more kid albums out of it.
I'm not very optimistic about Justin Bieber's future.
Justin could have been the next Justin Timberlake.
It's true. And Justin Timberlake had some crazy little areas right there back
Really?
in. Have you seen some of he had cornrows?
Oh
and
yeah.
Wearing all denim and like.
But that was the early '90s, 2000. I mean, late
Right.
'90s, early 2000s.
He has some. If somebody really wanted to go back on Justin, you know, Justin has that stuff where it's like you could never say anything about anybody because the NSYNC pictures, those promo pictures that he has, is like for life. You just Google that.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks normal now, but back then, you know, he was doing it all.
Justin,
the curly afro stage he had.
That's
He had the
right.
curly afro.
He did.
That was like really. He had some hairstyles that were quite horrible.
Yeah.
So, you know, he moved forward, though. I can't wait to see him.
You made a comment about Jay Electronica.
I did, yeah.
What do you think of Jay Electronica?
Oh, man. I had somebody told me a conspiracy theory.
Right. That's my conspiracy theory
Man,
about Jay
somebody
Electronica.
told me, no, this is a more. All right, I shot with Ashley Alexander about a week ago, and she brought a guy from Egypt in. He was like, man, I think it's a conspiracy that you know who he's dating, right?
That Kate Rothschild chick.
Yeah. And we talked about this in the car when we went to D.C.
This is the craziest thing. It's still blowing my mind. I still can't believe
he's
it.
dating a Rothschild.
Do you know who that is? Like,
she's close to it. She's
close enough.
Yeah. And that's the guy was saying that he thinks that they brought him in almost like on the Illuminati level.
Because her family, the Rothschilds, are supposed to be Illuminati,
right?
If you believe in the Illuminati.
Oh, do you believe in the Illuminati? You've traveled the world. What do you think? Yeah, you know, what do you think? Hey, watch what you say.
Watch what I say.
right.
They're listening right now.
Come through, right.
If we see red beams
right.
the wall, you know,
right.
No, there is no Illuminati. There is no Illuminati.
He's blinking very fast.
Yeah.
He's trying to
No, I do believe that there are a small group of people that are controlling a lot of the world. Yes, I do. I do believe money rules the world, and I think there are a small group of people that are controlling the money. So I don't know how far it goes back because there's a lot of Illuminati theories, but I know that the Rothschilds are connected with, one of the biggest banks in the world, and, I know they control a lot of money. And I know that she created a label called Round Table Records.
I didn't know that.
Which, the Round Table is a big Illuminati term. They apparently sit at a round table and they call themselves the Round Table.
Oh, he's dropping knowledge now. You're not gonna get this is a free podcast, people.
But this is all speculation, people.
This is all. Yeah.
We're just talking.
Yeah, we're just talking.
How's it go?
We're live from Canada right now.
We're live from Canada.
What's it called? The opinions of the guest is not reflective of the opinions of the show.
Exactly.
Right.
You better make that statement.
All right. No, I'm with you. Go ahead. Anything
No,
else?
and she ended up signing Jay Electronica. I don't know what happened, but Jay-Z apparently signed Jay Electronica a long time ago, years ago, right? Like 4 years ago. Still hasn't come out with an album. And somehow now Kate Rothschild has signed Jay Electronica to a deal. I don't know if this is true.
Wow.
And they're dating. And he left Erykah Badu for her. Like,
I think Erica left him.
it's the weirdest thing ever. I don't care who left who. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense.
This is my take on the Jay Electronica thing. I think he's one of a guy that can assimilate into any culture. I don't know what it is about him. I've seen videos of him in India
With dots on his forehead coming out of
and shooting video.
Right.
I mean,
Beautiful
video
video.
in the street.
Beautiful video.
I know
too.
he was shooting a great. I mean,
Right.
but it's just like you got laser beams coming out of people's. I mean, it's just like
And
and
he's good. And
he's nice. But the only thing I'll take is until I hear an album,
Right.
he'll be like one of the greatest potential could have been guy that ever did it.
I've been anticipating that album more than anybody. That
It will never happen.
it will. You don't think so?
No. I think Jay Electronica, he'll every now, because Just Blaze always says he tries to he'll say, hey man, I will do the album for free. I heard this story. Now.
Right.
I don't know if it's true, but he was like, I will do the album. I will just
But
do
why?
it.
Exhibit C. That song is amazing. For personally, in my opinion,
Oh my gosh, I love
that song is amazing. And if I don't know, he needs to come out with that.
they
They
say-
say it's almost done.
They say he works with you and then he disappears. Like Just Blaze will be like, all right, we got studio time tomorrow. Are you going to come? That's the question that you ask.
Because he's
Are you
Illuminati.
going to
He's
come?
Illuminati now.
And then he won't. But we're not talking about he's missing for a day or 2 days. We're talking about he gets missing for years.
Right.
Yo, we're going to do studio tomorrow. He's missing for years.
He talked about that. He said sometimes I just want to stay in the room and masturbate. And watch, he said that and watch wrestling.
What?
That's what he says. He said he'll. He said he'll. I'm quoting.
He did not say that.
He had a. Okay, go to the interview with him and Rosenberg on YouTube. Him and Peter Rosenberg. He says, I just want to sit and watch wrestling and masturbate sometime.
Why is wrestling got to be on? Why wrestling?
I don't know if it's like the same time. Like,
When WWE Divas.
I don't, but well,
I think I'll be happy. I'll just make this statement.
go ahead.
I'll be very happy by the end of this year if Jay Electronica releases an album and Andre.
I knew you were going there.
Andre's coming back.
Yes.
No, but he.
Well, I heard he's releasing an album around the movie, the Jimi Hendrix movie.
That's in November.
It's December. I
Is it
heard.
December?
Well, I heard by the end of the year he's releasing an album.
No.
I don't see that's possible.
They changed that this
They
week.
changed
They
it.
changed it. He said it's not going to be the beginning of the
Well,
year.
I will be happy if that happens because
I don't want it to happen.
What?
I've told people this. I don't want it to be because everybody should know this. Outkast is my favorite of all music ever. Outkast, Outkast, without a doubt. I mean, I'm from the South. I grew up. That's like my family almost. It seems like, but I don't need another album because I don't want them to.
you don't want to ruin it,
There
right?
you go. I don't
But
want
I
to
don't
ruin
think he
it.
can. He's good. I don't think he can. Did you hear that 16 bars thing? Have you heard that?
Yeah, him and Rick Ross.
It's these little things, these little collaborations. He gives us just enough. I mean, that example alone of 16 bars.
You heard I'm Sorry with him and T.I.?
No.
That's another one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, the verse on there.
Yeah, Mickey said, "Listen, I'm sorry." From
Download that joint immediately.
just go to
Okay.
Spotify. It's on Spotify if you got Spotify.
All right.
Yeah. Listen to T.I. I'm Sorry. It's on his last album, and Andre was on that. He talks about why Outkast didn't ever really come back together.
Huh.
He gives out basically he's like a Jay Electronica too, but he just puts out more music.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
he's had a lot of music. Yeah.
But he
right.
said he didn't.
No,
care
no.
about much.
Don't you
Wait,
ever, ever compare the two.
Wait, man,
Don't you ever. Jay Electronica and Andre 3000?
Wait a minute, they're about the same thing. Look, Andre 3000 and them
I don't-
are the same.
We need
Yeah,
video
they're
of
about
this.
that. Erica Badu. That's about the same thing they got in common. That's about
No,
it.
I don't agree with that at all, personally.
You don't agree with
No,
what?
That they're the same.
They're not at all.
Literally, but as far as being like artists that they're not doing it for money, they're not doing it for fame. They
but-
do it because it's something that is them.
But
and
now,
they don't
though,
really
Andre,
care
though-
if they, ever.
Andre's
for the money.
doing it for the money. He's in Gillette commercials.
Yeah, he's doing it for the money.
No, but he's not rapping though. That's what his original thing was. I mean, he's doing movies and doing things like that, but Love Below album, the next thing for that was supposed to come out so long ago. And one of the bars he says in that song is like, I never cared about money. You know, all I wanted to do was just get out of wherever he was. So I don't think the hunger for him to put out another album, he's not listening to the people. He knows the people want another one. It's something that if he feels like doing it, if he decides, he wakes up one day and says, I think I'll finish this album. I think Jay Electronica is that same type of person, whereas
Jay Electronica is just weirder. I don't know.
He's
like
weirder than Andre. I'll give you that one. He's
right.
My question to you, Roy, is
yes.
I would love to see if those two hung out together. They got the mutual Erykah Badu. I would love to see if they hung out. I know Jay Electronica respects Andre 3000. I'm pretty sure Andre respects Jay. I would love to see, like, do you think they hang out together? Have they been together before?
Jay Electronica is such a mystery to me. I have no idea. I can't even imagine. Right now, like, imagine where he is right now, Jay Electronica.
I'm on Instagram with him. I follow him around.
Where is he? In England
He was on
somewhere?
a motorcycle about a week ago driving around. You know, the funny thing about him is this. He has a terrible stuttering problem.
Does he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to one of his interviews. He stutters a lot. He doesn't stutter when he raps, but when he interviews,
I didn't expect that at all.
Check out one of his interviews. He stutters a lot, and I think it's what's the word I'm looking for? I was about to say it's endearing, but that's not the right word. It's interesting to see that he's such a prolific writer and rapper, but he has a stuttering problem. So, but yeah.
Come on, Jay, come back.
Oh, let's hear about this Kanye story while we're here.
The Kanye story. I was in Paris at the Valentino fashion show, and I was working there. I was photographing there, and when you go to a fashion show, like, you know, the big ones in Paris, they have assigned seats. Like, you know, you've seen them all the time. You sit on these little seats right on the runway, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for my seat. I'm looking for my name, and I'm going down the line, and I see it, and then I see my name, and then right next to me is Kanye West. And I'm like, wow, that's Kanye West. And he was already sitting there. Oh. And I was like, that's Kanye West. And I'm never starstruck. I've met a lot of famous people, and I'm never starstruck. But for some reason, the whole Valentino fashion show is a blur. All of it's just, I was just like so preoccupied that I was sitting next to Kanye West. It was
like the Prince aura just came around.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just like, it was Kanye. I was just like, how's this happening? Like, where am I? I'm in Paris. Like, why am I here? You know what I mean? Like
all the dimensions of time just stopped.
Right. It was just weird. So
floating.
The fashion show ends. We get up, and of course I gotta ask him, you know, for a photo. So I get a photo with him. He's real nice to me. He's like, it's really cool, and you know, Dr. Kim, who I was with, was trying to take the photo, and it wouldn't take. You know, sometimes sometimes it'll refocus and refocus. It won't take, and I'm like, just take the picture, you know, and Kanye is in my ear going, I gotta go. He kept just repeating, I gotta go. But he was being real cool about it. And finally got the picture and everything. But this is the weird part, and this is for me, I don't know. You can believe this or not. I don't know.
Disclaimer.
I'll just tell you.
Disclaimer.
You make your own opinion about this, okay?
Can I guess what this is? Like, you wake up at night and you kind of see like a bear somewhere in your room. Like, it's some kind of remnant of Kanye West in your room.
You went to a weird place. It's not that weird.
You see those glasses sitting on the desk.
It's not that weird. No. No, this is what happened. So I'm with Dr. Kim. Dr. Kim is on the board of the Gorilla Doctors, right? Mm-hmm. And wherever we go, he tells everybody that, you know, he's on the board of the Gorilla Doctors. We do this, and we had just come from Rwanda. We were just in Rwanda, went to Paris for this show. So it was real fresh in our heads, and like he tells Kanye that, you know, I'm the cinematographer for the Gorillas, and he's one of the doctors, and you know, we work on the Gorillas. And Kanye was amazed by it, right? He was like, Gorillas, like in Africa, and you know, and so this was February. Yeah, Fashion Week was in February. That July, the Kanye Jay-Z album comes out, and there's a song on there, and where the line is, I've got my, I don't say the word, mm-hmm. in Paris, mm-hmm. and we're going gorillas. Huh.
Look at you. Hip hop history. Hip hop history. Wow.
So in my head,
I'm going with what you're saying.
because at that
I'm
time,
going with what
this
you're
was
saying.
February before the album was released in July. They were probably still tweaking the album in July, right?
Wow.
They could have written that song after that point. In my head,
I'm with you. I'm riding with you. I mean, you
and
met
we're going
Kanye,
gorillas.
You know, you talk to him, you see him, and then the gorilla. I'm with you. However, we don't have the disclaimer. I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it. It was inspired by this man here. You
I'm
know
going
what
to tell
I mean?
my kids about it. I'm going to tell my family that I inspired
Hey.
a line in a Kanye West album.
It's now in the world now, so it is true. Everything on the internet is true.
And he does listen to the podcast, by the way, so he'll hear it.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
Man, maybe he'll respond.
Maybe.
And he'll
Maybe.
say, I've never seen that white guy before in my life,
Maybe.
and none of it happened.
Maybe we should put the picture of him and Kanye West to get more views on the.
I'll give it to you.
You gotta send it to me.
I'll
Send
email
to
it to
me.
you.
Yes.
Probably like 1,000
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
in an hour.
So let's see. What else can we? Oh, let me pull this up now while we're here. I got
Oh my
this
God,
little-
what is this?
No. This is good stuff.
All right.
I follow this guy on Facebook, as everybody else
Oh
should
my God.
follow this guy on Facebook. And he puts these things called TIL. He got one that had me mind boggled this week. Let me pull some-
TIL. So TIL means today I learned.
There
I
you
try
go.
to learn something new every day. And
When did you start this? Did you owe it?
when did I start this?
When did you
Probably
start
like
this?
a year ago.
A year ago? Mm-hmm. Okay. You just woke up with the inspiration.
Well,
to just,
because on Facebook people put dumb stuff on it, just stats. It's the dumbest things.
I'm one of
right?
I put
no,
dumb stuff.
it's that arbitrary. It's like stupid. Like I just wiped off my calendar and it was red or something. It was the
I
stupidest.
just hit
dumb.
my toe on the bottom.
I
of
don't
the bed.
care. I really don't care. You know. And so I wanted like somebody to get something out of my status. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I'm gonna put something up there, it's not just gonna be, you know, I cleaned my windows today and I stubbed my toe. You know, it's stupid. So that's what it came from. Today I learned TIL, and then whatever I learned.
So I compiled a list of my favorites.
Nice.
And I'm gonna see if you remember what
Okay.
they are.
All right.
Let's see. Let's start from this is the good one. The king in front of a snake's name means.
It means that snake eats other snakes.
Hey, there we go. Did you hear that?
So a king cobra means that king cobras eat other snakes.
The name king.
Because there's all kinds of cobras, you know,
Right.
but the king cobra.
Gotcha. And if there's any stories behind any of these, how you found these out, just let me know. All right, let's see. This is a very good one. I went around my job saying this one to people. Check this out. The year 1969 is closer to 1990,
Than it is now. Than 1990 is to right now.
2013.
Right.
Follow
So-
that.
Yeah.
It's 1969 to 1990 is closer than 1990 is to 2013. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Where did that
I find stuff on the internet. I go to this site called Reddit a lot, which is, you know, I'm addicted to Reddit, and there's a lot of stuff like that, and it's very well researched, and, you know, people, they, you know, it's these amazing.
Is Reddit like a blog?
No, it's considered the front page of the internet. That's what it's called. It's reddit.com, and it's a great site. It's very addictive.
I
mean,
never
it's-
understood Reddit.
all it is people submit stuff that they've, you know, links and stuff on the internet, and it gets voted. So like if you like it, you can upvote it, and the upvotes go, the stuff that's voted on the most is on the front page. So it's real popular stuff on the front page. So you're getting like the popular stuff on the internet in the front page.
Right. All right,
nice.
how about this one? The Netherlands is closing.
That's the prison one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
okay.
the Netherlands is actually closing prisons right now, not opening them like we do.
Well, why are they closing them?
Because of the lack of prisoners, lack of crime.
Oh, you should see Mickey's face now.
I mean, that's amazing. So
I've always been fascinated with prisons, like, because I was approached about doing a documentary about the prison system in the United States, and I chose not to do it because of stuff that I found out. And so I've always been fascinated with the.
Chico told me about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Awful.
yeah,
The
definitely.
private prisons, awful.
The amount of money that they get off of just
So
getting,
people are making money on prisoners, and that's probably the wrong way to do things.
I just think the fact that you don't get rehabilitated,
Nah.
it's kind of like what. I mean, it's more like an exile than it is trying to get you back into society.
Well, if they're making money on you and they can make you make things like slaves,
Yeah.
then
yeah,
why would they want you out of the prisons?
Yeah.
Right?
Which is horrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep
Keep
going. Let's keep going. All right, let's see. I'm gonna skip that one. That one's pretty good. That was the one about the fire hydrant because nobody has to. All right, let me read this one. We don't have to go into detail. All right, no one knows who invented the fire hydrant because the patent was burned in a fire.
That's irony.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna keep going. All right, now this is my favorite.
Okay.
This is all right. I'm about to. All right. All right. If you're listening to this, put earplugs in or something because your mind might just get blown because this is some deep stuff.
Mind blowing out.
All right, check this out. If identical twins marry identical twins, their kids will legally be cousins, but genetically be full siblings. Bam! That is deep.
It's true.
I'm going to say it one more time. If a set of twins marries another set of twins and both sets of twins have kids, legally they'll be cousins, but genetically they'll be siblings.
Full siblings.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
So what if they have kids then? Wait.
We can't
go that deep. We can't go that deep.
The world will implode. Like
Twins, separate genetic pool, just twins, just different people, but they're both twins.
yes. All right. Let's say this. You and Ashley, who is the host of the Unnamed Music Show, by the way, you should check it out on YouTube. Yes. And you have an identical twin, and she has an identical twin. You and Ashley marry, and then your identical twin and her identical twin marry.
It's because if you have an identical twin, you have the same genetic makeup as the other person, right? So you're passing on half of your genetic material. Each of you are. And that genetic material is identical to the other two's. So it's all identical genetic material.
What do you think about that, Mickey Dunn?
Please don't do that.
I think that
I want to
see
it
that.
happens all the time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there are couples.
I gotta see pictures.
Right.
I gotta see pictures. All right, let's see. Let's move on. This is good. I read this one today, and I was like, that's interesting too. The pinky promise originally meant that if you broke a promise, the pinky was chopped off.
Mm.
That's the
severe.
origin of a pinky promise.
That's severe.
There's a lot of kids that wouldn't have a pinky.
All right, here's another one. Until 1847, the gorilla was unnamed and only known by rumor. 1847.
Yeah, that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever really seen one or documented seeing a gorilla.
So it was like the modern day Bigfoot.
Right.
It might actually been Bigfoot.
The pictures and everything.
No, what I'm saying is that was probably like
There could have been a gorilla or some sort of primate living, you're saying, that was big
Yeah.
that somebody saw
Yeah.
in America.
Well, maybe not, but I don't know.
Maybe in the Pacific Northwest.
Maybe. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No.
Okay. All right. Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. This is good. We're going to get on that one. Hold on. All right. This is good. All right. In Japan, the Jersey Shore airs under the name Macaroni Rascals.
That's not true. I'm Googling that as soon as
Google it.
possible. Wait.
It is true. The Macaroni Rascals.
Wow.
This is confirmed. Someone has a confirmation of that.
Look, when I put TILs up, I really do
Fact check.
I have to, because people always call me out on it. They're like, that cannot be true. And then I'll just send them a link and like, here you go. And it's, you can really.
How does that? Where does that?
I guess because in Japan they don't really have
There's no translation for
Jersey, I guess maybe.
to describe, right? Like, how would you? I don't know, but macaroni
We
rascals.
can't say, I don't know, beach house. We can't say any
Something.
other thing. Macaroni rascals.
Yeah.
Whoever named that should be fired. immediately.
All right, so why do you believe in? Whoa, time out. We're gonna get to that. But I see it when I met Roy. Roy had a nice little BMW. He was in a car club, BMW club. Are you still in that? Okay. And now I see him years later. He's rocking the Prius. So I want to know.
Are you judging me right now?
No, I'm just trying to see where the transformation. What happened? I mean,
He wants to save the earth, man.
No, I don't. It's not. It's a very selfish. It has nothing to do with saving the earth because actually, if
Saving
you research, right? Yes, but if you research the Prius, it actually is worse for the environment because the amount of waste from the batteries or something, and like the amount of it's actually not. It doesn't really help.
Gotcha.
Apparently, the only reason I got it is to save money. I was spending $300 or $400 a month on gas at least because I put a lot of miles in my car, I drive a lot, and so right. And a BMW is not very cheap to keep on the road. And
Which number did you go? Did 745?
no, I had a 330.
330. Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I had a 330. I used to have an M3 before that. I had a 330.
Balling.
But then I was like, no. Yeah, me too. But now I'm putting around in a Prius. It just I don't feel right. Like I'm listening to hip hop in a Prius.
Nice.
Hip hop worked in a 330. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is so LA though.
All right. Wait a minute. Your girlfriend's here, but I want to ask you some questions, some
God.
personal questions.
Oh Jesus. Should she leave?
No, she can
Okay.
stay.
All right.
You've been all over the girl. What about the ladies, man? What about the ladies?
What about them?
What about them? You tell us. What about them?
Well, a lot of my friends, because I work at Fashion Week. I've worked Fashion Week for 3 years, and I've done Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. I've done Paris 3 times, I think. And so everybody's always curious about the Fashion Week.
I'm gonna tell you something about that. Sorry to cut you off, but even on my low level, I've seen some women that are like models, but if you were to see them outside of the makeup and hair, regular chicks.
That's what I was gonna say. They're not even regular chicks. They're aliens, really. They're very unusual looking in person. Like the first time I went, I had to follow this buyer to all the fashion houses, and my job was to sit in this room, and then they would try on, these models would come by the table and stand, and I had to take a photo of whatever they were wearing.
Right.
And they did that all day. Like I did that all day for a week.
Right.
So I saw almost every model that was working in Paris each week. And you would look at them in person, you're like, ugh, it's not even like, they look weird. They're 6'3", like their faces are weird. They look like they're gonna pass out because they haven't eaten. They're skinny. It's just awful. And then you take a picture of them, and you look on my screen, and I'm like, whoa, like it's amazing. They photograph beautifully, but in person, it's like, geez.
I didn't see that one coming.
Right. Nobody does. Because all my friends are like, oh, you're in Paris with models. And I'm like, eh.
Bumping Kanye.
Well, I can tell you the girl that Kanye was with at that show was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Like, I don't know who she was or what she was or whatever. I don't know who she could even be. I have pictures of her. But she was gorgeous. And I don't know. She was some European model or something. But,
Shouts out to Kanye.
Right.
Listening. So what place on the map has the best looking women though? I mean,
I can tell you a place that was surprising, had a lot of pretty women, was Nepal. And you would never think it, but there are beautiful women in Nepal. It's a different kind of beautiful. It's a very natural, like you see these striking, beautiful Rwanda, beautiful people in Rwanda.
right.
Gorgeous. But they're exotically just beautiful. You want to stare at them and photograph them. You know what I mean? So I like unusual, that kind of beauty when you see it and you're like, wow.
Right.
Like just so unusual looking.
Oh my God! I'm looking at this map here, and I see that you've been to a place that I told myself I would never go.
Where?
Brazil.
Oh, I haven't been there. That color is where I want to go. That's like a plan.
I'm
where I
sorry.
would like to go. I'd like to go to Brazil.
I wouldn't make it.
I've never been anywhere in South America.
Oh, got you. The reason why I wouldn't make it is that I wouldn't make it as a married man in Brazil.
Oh, yeah, I've heard it's crazy there.
If you go to Brazil, anybody, you gotta protect yourself.
That's anywhere. That's anywhere.
I mean, you gotta protect yourself, but we're giving like an extra. It's crazy.
A layer of protect. Double up. Back it up twice. That's anywhere, man.
I've never been anywhere around there.
Good.
I was just in Cuba, which is very weird, but I like Cuba
weird?
a lot. Cuba's just, I don't know anybody that's been to Cuba.
It's Cuba?
Look, yeah, look.
I knew that was Cuba because they always have the old
The
American
old cars. Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I love
weird?
Cuba. Yeah, it's just a weird place. It's hard to describe. It's so close, you
It
know.
says it's got great healthcare.
Great healthcare. Highest literacy rate in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. TIL. There you go. Today I learned.
There you go. Right.
Cuba
see?
has the highest literacy rate in the world.
So let's see. Aliens. Why
Oh, God.
aliens? Why aliens?
I'm scientific and,
Okay.
I'm a very scientific person.
Okay. So you're just saying the odds.
The numbers. You just
Right.
got to look at the raw numbers. There are, I mean, arguably there are trillions of suns alone. Like in our universe, in our galaxy alone, there
Right.
are billions of stars, hundreds of billions of stars that have hundreds of billions of planets revolving around them.
Okay.
There's got to be life somewhere. That's what the universe is. That's what this all is. It's life. So for me, it's just the sheer numbers.
Have we been visited by aliens?
No,
You don't
I've
think
never.
so?
Me?
No, not you.
Oh, we.
Yeah, it's people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have proof of that.
They say that the American government has an alien.
There's speculation. Who knows? When I see it for myself, I'll say yes. But I haven't seen.
They said
And
that-
the amount of coverage we have now, video, and the amount of technology, there's got to be something out there.
they
that we
said
would
fiber
see.
optics came from the aliens
I mean,
and PS3.
if you look at how fast stuff, and Bluetooth,
right. Yeah.
No, but if you look at the advancement in technology, it was quick.
Yeah.
It was quick.
Think about that fiber optics, man. That's huge.
Who invented the computer? Does anybody know? No.
No, it just
There's no inventor of the computer necessarily, right?
no.
I don't think there is, right?
I got a theory about the computer too, because I think that's now our brain. It's like a tap into what our consciousness is. If you can control what people are looking at, if you know what they're looking on computers, you know exactly. That's the thing that bothers me. Like when I go to different sites and I look up something on Amazon and then I see it next to me.
I know, it freaks me out. We were just
Like,
looking
yo.
before we went to Bermuda. We were looking for bathing suits for me,
Yeah.
and then I go on some random site, and the bathing suit I was looking for was in an ad, and I was like, "Oh, that
Yes.
just freaks me out."
It's real. I mean, it's real. I mean, you talk about it. I mean, not to get into conspiracy theories, but we're definitely in 1984 right now.
Without a doubt. And I just downloaded it on my Kindle, not the book, so I
Yeah.
could read it because I've never read it.
Right.
Because I want to see what's going on, because it's freaking me. What's going on right now is freaking me out, really.
Yeah.
But I heard now they're setting up these internet. These guys are setting up a Wi-Fi internet, so they're using people's routers
Yeah.
to create networks.
Oh,
Instead of using the infrastructure for the internet, they're bypassing it so they can stay out of it.
Let me tell you something. Like, speaking of internet, in Austin, Texas, I think it was, they were using bums. You could get internet off of bums.
They were paying the bums, right?
Yes. Yes. Using
They were
the
putting
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
connection.
high spots. There were bums as hotspots.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
So many things wrong with that.
Like, I mean, just think, like, it's just,
Well, if they get paid,
Oh, yeah.
they were like wearing it around their neck or something, weren't they?
it's so weird, man. It's just so weird. Like,
Backpack or something.
like
Maybe
we're really
it was a backpack.
Yeah, I hope so.
stuck in my butt. It's just weird, man. Like we're definitely it's a gift and a curse because hopefully crime's at an all-time low, believe it or not, nationwide.
They don't make you feel that way, do they?
No.
They scare the hell out of you.
And I was telling somebody, I was like, I wonder, people talk about times are getting worse and worse, but I wonder is it exposure
yeah,
to
it's just the focus of it.
right.
I definitely do think it is something to be said about if you didn't watch anything that was going on, how much is really, because just because someone's telling you that that's what it is, there's no, do you know that that's what exactly
well,
happened?
take-
It's kind of
take-
like people take whatever's said on the TV. Hey, that guy just shot somebody.
Right.
But did you see it? I mean, you could literally sit there in an acting place and just make it all up and
Right.
shoot it, and people would believe it. If
It's
you
all
put it on the-
perception. Take Baltimore, for example. I've lived here for almost 20 years, and I tell people, I'm from wherever I go, they say, where are you from? I say, Baltimore. They're like, ooh. Yeah, they say the wire. Like, are you all right? I'm like, what do you mean? Am I all right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I've had not one incident since. I've never had anything go down.
Well,
Right. Well, for me personally, like, but it's rare. It's not like it's the exception. They have the perception that you walk out and you're hearing
Oh
bullets.
yeah.
go everywhere. It's not
And-
like
and
that.
Look, people act like if you don't go to Brooklyn,
Right.
or you don't go to the South Bronx or
Right.
something, that there are not areas that are kind of that there are crazy areas everywhere. I
Right.
mean, there's areas where it is a little extra, but I agree that Baltimore does have, and I think in the next 20 or 30 years, I think Baltimore is about to take those areas. I think are going to get better. I think
hope
that they're
so.
trying to change those areas.
they will, and then the counties will get bad. I'm telling you, that's what they're gonna do, man. It's happening now. It's happening. Man, they moving all the black folk out to the county. All the criminal element. There we go.
I had a TIL though. In that, remember you were saying about fear and like you think you're in danger all the time, and they make you feel like terrorists are coming after us at all times. Which is,
Well,
I
yeah,
had a
can
good
you
I had a
recall
good
that one
TIL.
right
No,
now?
I had a good TIL about it. About furniture. You're more likely statistically you're more likely to be killed by your furniture than you are a terrorist attack in the United States.
Wow.
Like your dresser falling on you. There's higher stats of people dying from their TV falling on them than a terrorist attack. But they'll make you believe. They make you believe that if you, oh my God, terrorist attack! Don't go to
Terrorists
DC.
are coming.
Right? Terrorists, they're gonna get you.
They're
You know,
gonna
like
get you.
it's not true.
Well, they say fear is one of the strongest controlling
Absolutely it
agents.
is.
Like, if you want to control a people, you give them something to be afraid of, and you allow that to control them, and
Yeah.
that's how you control whole society.
I don't care what you say. I'm still not going to Mexico. Forget that.
Mexico's rough.
When I look at current television, now that right there, the Mexican drug cartels, it does it.
Shoo. There's some violence going on over there.
I don't know.
They're straight
That
cutting
might
people's heads
actually
off.
be people getting their heads chopped off. That might actually.
We're going to Mexico in 2 weeks. And look, my girlfriend's look on her face looks like she's like, oh my God.
Don't look at current television at this point in time.
No, we're going to an isolated
Like a
area.
resort or something.
It's
like that?
Cabo,
Oh, yeah.
so it's on the peninsula. They don't go over there.
Okay, okay. Y'all will be fine.
We'll be all right.
You're like,
I've been to the Congo. It'll be okay.
yeah.
I don't think you can check that on the plane.
You know, but yeah, man. Anything else? I mean, anything else? What is like some what have you learned? I mean, like you've traveled the world. Like, what have you learned about the world? Your perspective.
It's mostly about what I've learned about my home, and
Okay.
it makes every time I leave, I go somewhere else. When I come back, I appreciate where I live more, and I don't take things. I think people complain about things that they shouldn't complain about, and I always say first world problems because, and I say it all the time now. Like people will say, "Oh, I don't have hot water today," or "My hot water was off for 2 hours this morning. I couldn't take a shower." I'm like, "Really? Like, is it that bad? Like, come on." It came back on, right? And you have electricity all day, every day. If it goes out for like a storm for a couple hours, we freak out. We're like, my electricity's off. We're calling the power. Come on. When you're somewhere in like Africa, the power just cut out, and it might not come back on. And we take a lot for granted here, and I didn't realize it until I was traveling, because I took everything for granted too. So that's the biggest change for me is it changed how I saw everything here in America, which is great. Very valuable.
Definitely expanded your.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't complain as much about little stuff.
What's this is going back a little bit, but what would you say is one tip or piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's trying to build a team? Since you built a team and ran it, what would you say is a tip in meeting people and building a team? Do you kind of just go randomly, or did you kind of have a certain way that you went about it?
I don't know. It was just I used my gut a lot. I think it was just I think people kind of know when you meet somebody if it's good or not. Like I think deep down, even if you go through with it and see it through and then you get screwed over, you already kind of knew. You always say like I knew it, but I think the more you follow your gut and just kind of go with it, and I think that's why people are successful. I saw a thing, they did a study about the most successful people in the world, and they tried to figure out what the traits were like with them and how they handled things. And every one of them, it was the common theme. All of the successful people made decisions very, very fast and changed them very, very slow. And the unsuccessful people did the opposite. They made their decisions very slow, and then they changed them fast once they made the decision. Does that make sense? So make the decision. The successful people just make the decision right up front and just follow through. They make it happen. That's the key. And there's, people, I'm sure you know people that, all right, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to wait. And they just never do anything. Like, they just never do anything. So
that was good for me to hear because I'm trying to go back to school. So that was good.
I just went back to school, so do it.
Yeah,
you just got to do it.
I'm definitely going to do it. It's just in what? I have two options. I'm doing dental hygienist or doing dentist.
That's weird. We're doing kind of I'm going the medical route too in a way.
Yeah,
that's weird. I'm getting a bio degree now, and I might go to PA school. So like to be a physician assistant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so that's almost the same thing.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go that route? I mean, from what I see here to that.
I know. I want to be a doctor my whole life, but I got sidetracked into all this stuff. But it's always been in the back of my head, and I feel like now I'm getting to the point now. I'm 40 now, and if I don't do it, at least try it now.
Right. Let me let you guys know he looks.
Nice.
He looks about my age. I'm 30.
You're 30?
Yeah, he looks about my age.
I thought you were 30.
No. No, but thank you. See, that's good. No, but if I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm probably never going to do it. Even if I fail at it, at least I tried, and So
Roy's probably going to the Congo, harvesting the blood of the Africans to keep his youth.
I do believe he found maybe the fountain they used, but he won't say. And you know what? And if I were you and I found it, I wouldn't say either.
I don't know, though. I could market it. I could market it here and make money.
Maybe.
Man, you would have to. Now, you really would need a security system for that because I know, people would go, "Oh, he has the. I want it." And if you weren't trying to negotiate, you'd have to, but that's because that's powerful. You know how many people would want to just live
But
forever?
if you knew what I had to go through to do it, then you wouldn't do it.
Only virgin blood.
Yeah.
That's tough these days. All right. Yeah. So that's interesting. Like the only reason why I'm going back to school is because I got a wife now. I'm trying to worry about kid and
right. And what we do is not stable, right?
That's the thing. Like like the money in this. What we do is you always find people don't have any money. Like and I hate chasing the dollar. I got a 9-to-5, but it's in the same field. But it's just like I gotta find some kind of income sustainable income. So
it's weird, right?
Very, very so. And it's something that I'm interested in. I've always enjoyed the dentist and all that stuff. So,
but I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna say this is my last thing I'm gonna say.
All right.
Because I've gone through the same thing in my head right now.
Right.
But every time you probably experience the same thing. We're always up and down in our career. Like when you're freelance or whatever we do, we're kind of making it up as we go along. You have these lows and you're like, all right, this is it. I'm quitting. I can't do this anymore. Like I just can't do it. It's not worth the stress of worrying about how I'm paying for this, where I'm going to live. It's not worth it. And as soon as you really give up in your heart, everything happens.
Dude, he is not lying. I don't know if I told you this, Mickey, but in May I said, look, I'm taking 3 months
right
off. As soon as I said that, I haven't had a day where I wasn't doing something. I'll lie to you.
But you have to really mean it. You can't just say it and fake it.
Right.
You have to really mean it. You say, look, I'm not doing this anymore, or I'm taking off. I can't handle this anymore. I'm taking off.
Right.
And doing something else. But this is a big move in that direction.
Yeah.
If you go to school, I prepare you because as soon as I went to school, I've never been busier in my life.
Wow. See, so it's like the pull.
It's weird. You put pressure on the other side and somehow. I don't know what it is, but that bubbles up and then.
Do you feel like if it's coming back to you? Do you feel like it's meant for you to go that direction?
That's what's messing with my head. I don't know.
I mean? Like some people would feel like if it's something if that gravity is pulling you that direction, even though you're trying to get away from it, is that what is meant to be?
I know. That's what
I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
I'm struggling with that. Seriously. That's big struggle. Because I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're both in the same spot because
Yeah.
like, what's the end game?
Right.
That's the thing. Like, what's the end game? This whole thing.
Follow your passion.
Yeah, I have a
I
passion.
but-
understand there are real life. It's real life, but it's like.
But you have
everybody
to make the decision. I follow my passion my whole life, to a T. I really have. I've just whatever I feel, I just go do it. And so this is different for me. And now there could be another passion that allows. Right. So the job, like say he's a dental assistant or a dental hygienist, whatever he wants to be, that is going to enable him to get his passion. Maybe the passion isn't the job anymore. So maybe he will stop asking people what they do. The second they meet him, they say, "What do you do for a living?" He's going to stop asking it because he knows that dental hygienist is not what he really is. It's just
Right.
allowing him to get something that he wants.
And I like the fact that, with that job, you get to go to work and go home.
Right,
But
but it's
what we
going to
do-
allow you to have a family,
Yeah.
stability, and it's
Right.
going to have you're going to be a better husband for it.
Right.
You're going to be less stressed.
And that's what I want to talk to you about.
You'll have
because-
health care.
There you go, exactly. And better teeth, I guess,
Right.
But I want to ask you about this. Dealing that you're in a relationship, how does that work out? Because I couldn't be in your position where I could just go.
Right.
Go.
So
You gotta have a special person for that.
Well, that's
allow
part
you
of
to do that. I couldn't just go like that. I wouldn't want to necessarily go like that. That's not my thing.
Oh, okay. So you don't think that she would just be like?
I mean, my wife would let me go, but I don't have a
would be
desire
weird,
to just,
though. Right,
just
it's-
go. Like,
right. I can tell you that I'm turning 40 in 6 months or whatever it is, and I met Ann when I was 37. So at that point, I had been single my whole adult life. I had never had a relationship.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So
whoa, time out. Let's moment of silence for a second. Let's just think about it.
So-
is it-
not a no. I had never been in a.
She's
Right.
like, get it straight now.
Well, of course.
Well,
I
this
mean,
was-
I'd never been with a girl for more than 6 months.
was this like? Did you enjoy it?
No, it was what I wanted. I knew that what I was doing didn't allow me to really be in a healthy relationship.
Like an international player then at that point.
Well, no, I would get calls.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, I would. Yeah,
I feel your lifestyle didn't fit that
No.
type of lifestyle.
I
at
didn't
that
have
time.
room for it. Literally, I didn't have room for it. I wanted to go. If I got a call that I need to be in the middle of the
And you gotta
Congo,
go.
then I get on a plane and go. There was no thought about it. There was nothing pulling me back. You know what I mean? Now that I've met Ann, all that has changed, and I've gotten older, and I'm getting sick of the travel, and I'm getting sick of being in the jungle, and I'm being sick of being shot at, and being in danger and getting attacked by animals, and all that stuff. And it's just I'm getting sick of being away from home all the time, and it was great, but now this is what I want to be home, and I want.
Was that gradual? Like,
Yeah.
Like some people say you wake up one morning and then you just realize, like,
No,
I don't want to,
It was gradual. But when you're like a couple of the incidents in Congo really jarred me out of it. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I here? I just want to be in Baltimore sitting and doing nothing. Like, I didn't want any excitement. I wanted to be just home on my couch. You know what I mean? Like, and people say, oh, you have the most amazing
So
job
interesting.
and life, and like, I want your job. Everybody always says that. Can I come with you? And like, I'm like, really? Like, do you? Because it's different when you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like when you're looking at it from the outside, it's amazing, right? But if you actually have to do it and go through it and eat the food and
I just think about
the bugs and everything kills you over there, and like it's just right.
So it's true.
It's
like
true.
everything that's like a bug, like a little small bug could just tap you, and then you're like your arm swells.
Yeah, I had to get shots, to go before. I had to get all the inoculations, and there's a big map that they show you that tells you what shots you need to get for where you are going in the world, right? So there's this big map, and the nurse is looking on the map, and where I'm going, there's this little black dot. It's a dot over the country, over Congo and Rwanda. And she's like, oh, this is going to be easy. You need everything, because they have everything there. They still have the plague there. The plague's still there. So she said, it's the only place on earth really where, You know, you need everything. So it's a crazy place.
Wow. What would you say the worst part? Just being away from home, or just that would probably be number one?
Just, I mean, I was convinced I was going to die over there, so that's probably the worst part. And, you know, there's other parts where we'd be in, you know, I'd be in my hotel and a grenade goes off outside of the hotel.
No.
And, you know, those are just horrible parts. Like, that's just, and, you know, being really scared that I'm not going to see my family anymore. That's horrible. You know, it's just, but it's balanced with the most amazing things you'll ever see in your life. You know, you're with gorillas in the wild. You're sitting next to a 700-pound gorilla in the wild is amazing. So it's just this weird balance, and it keeps me wanting to go back. But, you know.
Were the gorillas, I mean, were they pretty nice? I mean, you could
No, the gorillas.
Because they, reason why, because you'll see those stories where it's like, they'll rip your freaking arms.
The gorillas are the nicest part of Rwanda. They're the nicest part of Africa is gorilla. They're nice. They're gentle.
Because there's about 12 of them, right?
Well, what do you mean?
Gorillas like actually living right now.
No, there's 728.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
728 gorillas.
Who's killing people?
It's really complicated.
I feel
it's
you.
really
I feel
complicated.
you.
There's a lot of gold there. There's a lot of diamonds, and there's a lot of this metal. There's this metal that's found in every cell phone in the world.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
That only comes from the Congo. So it's.
Wait a minute. This isn't like General Butt Naked.
Excuse me.
You ever seen that thing about General Butt Naked on Vice?
Oh,
Is it
I haven't
the
seen that
Congo?
Vice. No.
And they're like eating people and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. I'm so confused about what's going on. Wait a minute. People are eating people?
It's really complicated there, and it's really pretty intense over there.
It's not that complicated. I mean, from what Vice told me from the confines of my home is that they eat the person because they want to take their life essence.
Right.
So they'll eat like the heart. They'll eat their enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want my heart eaten.
Yeah. I want to take it with me as long as I possibly can.
There's lakes over there. You'll be on a lake on a boat, and the lake will just all of a sudden burp methane and kill everything around the lake. What? Like everything killed. Even the lakes kill you there.
Makes me not
Yeah.
want to go. Well,
I
not
know.
that particular.
No, you
area.
have to go. You have to go to Africa.
I
at least once.
really wanted to go. I really wanted to go to Johannesburg. That's what I really.
Now Johannesburg is dangerous. South Africa is dangerous.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of crime, like a lot of crime in South Africa.
Dang on. And you know, I saw.
Go to Rwanda. Go to Rwanda.
all the shots.
You're
And the planes.
Oh my God.
But you know what? You're right. At the same time, you know, you're talking about everything that was bad, but the experience that you had,
It's
how
worth
many
it.
people do you know that had the experience that you had?
Right.
I mean, that's like a one in a lifetime.
Can you honestly say that it's worth it? Can you honestly say it's worth it? Or is that what
Yes.
you're supposed to say?
No, it's not. I can honestly say it.
Okay. All right. So how do they? Are they tracking the gorillas? Like, you know,
They track them every day. There's guys that are assigned to them, and they track their movements.
Are
every day.
we with a transmitter or just people just watching?
They walk. There's these trackers. They're amazing. 'Cause they hike.
They smell like the feces, like 2
Well,
miles north.
yeah, and they're really fit, and like the trackers are amazing. Because they go up to like 10,000 feet, so they're hiking through
Right.
jungle at 10,000 feet, tracking gorillas.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
you gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
What are they tracking them for? Like, are they
Just
trying
to
protect them? Or?
Yeah, protecting them.
Really?
Yeah. Just
so
to make
a
sure.
poacher comes around, they pull out a gun, or
Well, yes, the poachers. I mean, it just happened a few days ago. Again, I just got a notice again, but it happens all the time. Like they'll go in, they'll kill the tracker, they'll kill one of the park employees, and they'll, it's this huge, complicated thing, and like they'll use the gorillas sometimes as pawns, and like say, I'll kill this family of gorillas unless you give me this.
whoa,
And, there was a big incident where they killed a whole family and put them out on the streets, and it was bad. But, it's horrible. Horrible.
wow.
How much of that did you even know before you even got there? Did
All
you
of it.
research? You researched everything.
Oh, yeah.
before you-
I researched the hell out of it. Yeah. And I knew exactly what I was getting into, which made it worse.
But you kind of somewhat thrive I feel like at the same time that you say, but you kind of, it's something about it.
I know.
You thrive in the middle.
I love it
of
and hate it. I love it and hate it all at the same
Like,
time.
the fire, but in the fire.
Right.
You
I know. It's weird.
I got a question for you. So when you go back, you like, do you go in like, oh, is that Lucy? Is that she's grown a little bit? Like, you know? Is that,
Oh, well, the gorillas?
yeah.
Well, yeah, they live a long time too. So I don't know if you heard of Diane Fossey, but the movie Gorillas in the Mist from a long time
that's,
ago.
Dr. What's her name?
It was about Diane Fossey, and she was the first person to really track the gorillas, and
No,
she's
what's
from
the
here.
other lady's name?
Jane Goodall's the
Jane
other one.
Goodall.
She's
I'm thinking
chimps.
about. Chimps. I'm sorry.
Right.
Proceed.
Diane Fossey. So the gorillas that she was taking care of, the males, I've been around the males that she was taking care of in the 80s.
Wow.
So one of them just died. His name was Digit or something, I think. But he died. But right. So they live they live to be in their 30s and 40s. So, they'll live. So you go back to the same groups, and you know who the male is immediately because he's huge and he has a huge silver back, and he charges you and makes sure that he knows that that I'm the bitch here, and like it's true.
So that wait.
So he's coming.
Oh yeah, they bring you into a family of gorillas. They sit you down, and the male will usually say, "All right, you're my bitch, and I'm gonna make sure that you know." And so he'll puff his chest out, and usually come right up to you and make sure.
He doesn't mollywop you or anything.
No, he just kind of like the first time he sat kind of right here, and I have pictures of it.
Yeah.
But he's over top of me, and then at that I almost passed out, and then
Wait a minute. Wait. So, hold on. My question is this: after he does it the first time, like when you come back.
No, but then you
Like,
realize.
just to remind you,
No, right.
the control. Right. Oh, you got a beard
Yeah.
now. I didn't
No, it
recognize who
happened,
you
yes.
were, Roy.
Exactly.
Does he do it again?
Oh yeah, they'll yes. All of a sudden, it's just like,
random.
because there's young gorillas everywhere too.
Yeah.
They're little baby gorillas, and they play everywhere. So the baby gorillas will come over to you in your leg sometimes. You're not supposed to really get that close to them.
Right.
But they'll come over, and then the male will say, "All right, now, here I am."
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
think that's very fascinating. I mean, I think that's a what do they call it? Anthropomorphic. Well, that wouldn't be anthropomorphic, but
Kinda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda. It's very interesting. So, are we talking one male and several females, or there's multiple
Yeah, the
males
male
and-
will usually have a lot of females, and then he mates with all the females.
Right. So you've
And
seen this in person, probably.
I've never seen them mate. Well, I have seen them mate.
Like, you just-
I have. It's
Really?
really fast. Yeah, and they make a weird noise too. Yeah, it's like this. It's this weird ass noise. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
And everybody asks me, "Are gorilla penises big?"
They're probably
'Cause
small as crap.
They're like the size of your pinky. They're these little
Wow.
tiny things. Big gorillas.
Poor gorilla.
Yep.
Poor gorilla. Well, I guess it's not stopping him because he has many.
Nah.
he has many wives, so it's
Yeah.
it's not stopping him at all. Wow. Oh.
I mean, do they look? Can you look at one and be like, "Oh yeah, that's"?
I mean,
That's
I can't
Mickey
really.
Dillon over there.
The doctors,
Who's Al?
the doctors can definitely. They
Really?
recognize all of them.
Really?
They know them by
Have
name.
any of the females ever got sweet with you or anything like that?
No.
I
One
mean,
touch.
that's a good question, right?
No.
I mean,
One touched me.
he said no. That's not.
One touched me on my legs. I got video of that. I'm filming, and she comes by my legs and brushes my legs.
And that's like flirting.
It was more like, again, you're in my territory.
Really?
She kind of like was like,
So you're like, so you can't like stand in there with the gorillas. Are you like on the outskirts of what's going on?
No, you're in the middle of them.
And
They're
don't-
surrounding
and
you.
they don't care.
No, they hang out. They're very calm.
Right.
They sit and they eat bamboo, and they just kind of chill. That's really all they do is they eat and move all day.
Do they? Have they been conditioned for that?
No, that's their natural kind of behavior. There's other gorillas that are in Congo. There's another called lowland gorillas. There's about 200,000 of them.
Wow.
I think there might be even more, but they're a little more aggressive because they don't see as many humans as.
That's what I was asking about the conditioning.
Yeah, the mountain gorillas are very because people see them. They see people every day. So
Oh, okay. Well, they see the trackers.
and tourists that come
Ah.
see the gorillas.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So the movie Congo, that was somewhat
Oh,
no. So those wait a minute, the monkeys the monkeys that were in that movie, the monkeys that were in that movie, the ones that were like really angry and stuff like that, that was just movie magic. Or,
yeah, that was.
All right, cool.
Congo.
right.
Now I saw Congo when I was younger, and I rewatched it after I went there. That movie is horrible.
Man.
Yeah.
All movies are like that.
Yeah.
A lot of movies don't hold up, man. What's your favorite movie, by the way?
My favorite movie. Oh my god, that's a hard question.
Come on, man. Favorite movie? You had to watch a movie right now. What would you watch?
I don't
The
know.
Breakfast Club.
See, I have different genres of movies. Like,
I do like The Breakfast Club.
no, my favorite movie is probably a movie you've never heard. Maybe you have. My favorite movie it's called Amelie.
Oh yeah, come on, man. About the girl.
Come on. All right.
Yeah.
I,
the little
I should
cropped
know
hair.
that you.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of my favorite movies. I think it's a brilliant movie. It's
Pretty
beautiful.
good. That's
Yeah.
who made it? Who made that?
It's that French guy. He's a genius.
Luc Besson? No, it wasn't Luc Besson. The one that does the videos for Bjork.
No, that's Michel Gondry.
That's isn't he
No,
do
it's
that?
not. He didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But he's genius too.
Yeah, I like
Michel
him a lot.
Gondry's
I like him
genius.
a lot. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, if anybody's into music videos, you should watch Michel Gondry.
Yeah,
videos.
he's a beast. He's
Yeah.
definitely a beast.
Yeah.
Any more questions you got? Anything you want to say to the people? Any last parting words?
No. I think we've said it all.
I'm trying to think if I had anything else to ask. Oh, let's see. What about what are your spirituality, religion? What do you think? Is there a God? Is there not a God? Is it we're just here? What is it?
Man, why are you saving that one for last? Good
Because you want to
God.
go out on that one.
Good Lord. Man, that's tough. I don't categorize myself as anything.
Okay.
So I don't say that I'm something.
That's another question I had.
But if I were to say that I was a religion, it would probably be Buddhist.
Okay.
I'm probably closest to Buddhist than
Gotcha.
anything. I've read more about Buddhism. I've studied Buddhism more than any other religion.
Gotcha.
Where did you grow up?
My mother didn't force anything. She wasn't really. She went to church. She still goes to church,
Right.
but she never made us go to church. If we wanted to go, we went. And so I found my own way.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, did you travel the world? Have you ever tried like any drugs like ayahuasca
Well,
or
it's so weird that you said that.
Here we go.
Well, I've been recently interested in ayahuasca.
Okay.
And
I
that's
would love
why
to
that
do it.
that's why that pin.
Can you give a brief of what is that?
Ayahuasca is a brew, like a brew.
It's a tea.
It's a tea, yeah. It tastes horrible, but so apparently you're supposed to meet Mother Ayahuasca, and it's almost like you're dying at the same time, but somehow you're seeing. It opens your life up to see.
So it's a hallucinogen.
Yeah.
It's an hallucinogen. It's considered one of the strongest hallucinogens in the world. Besides this other iboga stuff. I don't even heard of iboga, but it's
I don't think I have.
iboga, I think it's called. But that's on a whole.
Oh, come on, man.
No, it's on a whole nother. You take it. You can go to Peru. This is the weird thing. Well, oh my God!
Are you about to go into the origin of it?
No,
because they said
I'm getting ready to go into an Andre story because there's an Andre connection.
Well, can I finish this up real quick?
Go ahead.
The thing about it is they said that people ask the people of the of the bush, of the the jungle, how did you come up with this concoction? They said that the jungle told them.
Right, because those plants, the two plants they use for this tea, are found on opposite ends of the Amazon jungle or something.
Right.
And somehow somebody put these two plants together and made a brew that made this compound called DMT.
Yeah.
And they drink it.
And you already had DMT in your body,
right.
but it just I guess it puts more in there.
I guess.
Yeah.
And when you get more DMT into your system,
Right.
it just causes you.
Well, you throw up violently, and you throw up for the first hour, and then you lay down, and it lasts for 8 to 10 hours. And you lay in this one position. They kind of watch you, and you don't really move very much. You're almost asleep, but you're not asleep. But you can look it up. There's a lot of videos that people describe what happens, and it's pretty intense. And I want to do it. And the weird thing is when they say that you start.
I don't do drugs, but I do that.
But they
I
say
wanna see
like
her.
when you start talking about it and you really want to do it, it starts coming more and more around you.
Wow.
And it's true.
Let's talk about some things because I think we might be on the same way. Like me, I'm more alike than I'm seeing than I thought. even with that, I would love to meet Lady Ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca. They say she comes like in the form of a snake, or she'll come in the form of herself.
Depends on you, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who you are. I hope she don't. I hate snakes, so I hope she never comes as a snake. But so you've never done anything like that?
I mean, I've done a lot of hallucinogens when I was younger. I did a lot of LSD, and I ate a lot of mushrooms, and I smoked a lot of weed.
I would love
it. But you know, the LSD and mushrooms are different than weed in general. But yeah, I've done some hallucinogens, but nothing on that level of that. Right. But I'll tell you a quick story. This is a quick story.
Okay.
So I'd never heard of DMT. I'd never heard of ayahuasca. I was in a bookstore, and I go to bookstores, and I'll pull a book off the shelf and just open it up and start reading a page, right? And usually what I read is pretty cool. You know, like I feel like I'm meant to read it or something, right? So I was in the bookstore. I saw this book called Sex, Drugs, Einstein, and Elves, right? Okay. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I pulled it off, and I opened the page, and it opened to DMT, the chapter on DMT. Gotcha. So I read the chapter on DMT. And at the end, it said, once you start learning about DMT, then it'll be presented to you if you should take it. I'm like, wow, that's weird. I go to sleep that night.
Right.
My phone rings at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's Andre Miller.
Oh, great.
He's like, I'm picking you up in 3 hours, and we're going to New York. I'm like, okay. Shows up in his beat-up-ass truck and picks me up and we go to New York. And I go to this guy's house in the middle of New York, and Andre's talking to him. I'm not talking to this guy. And he opens up this container, and he starts pulling out all this stuff out of this container at his house. And the last thing he pulls out is this little thing, and it says it's labeled DMT. And I'm like,
wow.
Whoa. This is like hours after I read this book.
Right.
And I'm freaking out. I'm like, there's DMT right there, and it's rare. Like, you know, you don't come across DMT anywhere.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, whoa. And Andre is, shoving mushrooms in his face, and like he's, and he's got to drive back to Baltimore, and like he doesn't care. And the guy we were with gave me DMT. He gave it to me. Like, so I had DMT, and I came back home with it. And I'm like, wow, I have it. And I was scared to death to do it. I mean, I was scared to do it. So I didn't do it.
Oh my God, no.
But
because I'm on the edge of my seat, like.
So I didn't do it, right? Andre calls me that next night.
Right.
And I answer the phone. He's like, Roy. All I hear is, Roy. He's like, I'm real black. That's what he said. And he said, I heard water running in the background.
Right.
And he said, the turtles, man. All I got to say is the turtles are wet. And he hung up. And that was it. And I haven't talked to him since. This was, I'm not lying.
That was the last conversation you had with Andre.
Yes, and this was probably 7 years now ago.
Wow.
That's how weird is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I know we gotta go.
Yeah.
But he's kicking us out. I see.
No.
You really gotta go.
No.
Real quick. Astral projection, lucid dreaming.
I
throwing words out there, see if they stick.
Well, lucid dreaming. I've done a little bit of lucid dream, not much, but there's a book called The Art of Dreaming that I read when I was younger. Right. That's amazing, and where you look at the you're in your dream and you concentrate on looking at your hands in your dream.
Yes,
that's the technique. Start to become aware that you're dreaming in your dream. And there's people that control their dreams. You can fly, you can do whatever you want, and you're completely aware that you're dreaming, and you can control it.
I had it for about 2 weeks.
Really?
About 2 weeks.
I've only had it once.
It's like as soon as it catches up, you say, "Oh, I'm dreaming."
Right, and then you wake.
But it's like you can control it to a certain extent. You're aware, but like if a ball's bouncing, you can't say stop bouncing.
Right.
You're just aware. I have a story that I met some kind of entity driving up the Santa Monica coast and asked questions, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm trying to get back to that state because I listen to these. I go to sleep. This is gonna sound so weird. I go to sleep with headphones on and I listen to binaural beats to try to induce the lucid dreaming. But yeah,
my problem is I've done it a couple times, but as soon as I'm aware, I get excited inside of my dream and I wake up.
Right.
I woke up that I was like, oh, I did it, and then I wake up. So it's tough.
Yeah. I had it for about 2 weeks and that was it. You should try it, man.
There's technique. There's books.
You do dream. You just don't remember your dreams.
I rarely remember my dreams.
Yeah, it's just loss of time at this point. When I was a kid, I used to have a lot more dreams, but as I've gotten older, it seems like it's just loss of time. Like I just lose time, and it does make me feel kind of creepy. Like that time, like I'm cool with just losing all that time. It's just I don't know. It's a weird thing, but yeah, I wish I could. I don't know what happened. One time, I just stopped dreaming like that.
I think anybody should just try binaural beats. Just try it one night and see what happens.
All you have to do is put a blank notebook with a pen beside your bed, and before you go to bed, say, all right, I'm gonna write. Whenever I wake up, I'm gonna write whatever I just dreamt. And just you putting that pad down apparently makes you start remembering your dreams more.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, I ain't got enough to say. Yeah, this was
we went in some weird directions.
Yeah, we did. That was a fun podcast. Man. we gotta do it like a anniversary, like next year at the same time. We gotta see where he is now.
All right.
Right.
Don't buy it in Baltimore.
Right. That's called cocaine. Something else. Crack. Heroin. But yeah, I mean, I got nothing to say. You got anything to say?
Nothing else, man.
All right, I'm done. Anything you gotta say?
We're gonna go to South America and we're gonna shoot a small documentary about drinking ayahuasca.
Yes, we are. We're gonna document our experience.
Do it.
Yeah, all right. All right. Cool. Well, yeah, that's it. See y'all later.